Hello and welcome. My name is Margaret. I am a historical costumer and textile conservator in training, and today I wanted to talk to you about a project that I did this past August. That is this beautiful Bargello or flame-stitched pocket. This took me about 100 hours, and you will see the full process in the video, so stay tuned. So first I traced my pattern onto my counted linen canvas. I used a pocket shape that I found online and just sized it up to fit a standard sheet of printer paper just to make it easy. This should probably have been larger as the pocket turned out a little small, but this did fit my fabric and my embroidery frame. I did use an embroidery frame for this project, so I could work with both hands, which makes it twice as fast. It does take a bit of an adjustment to stitch with an embroidery frame, but I do highly recommend working with one if you're going to do a lot of needlework. It really cuts down on the amount of time and also sort of helps you ergonomically as well, so you're not getting any weird kinks in your neck. I also marked the pocket slit so I can embroider around it. Next, I started stitching the first line in black. This will set the pattern up for the rest of the piece. I started in the middle where I put the pocket slit and freehanded around the design. Then I mirrored it on the other half, carefully counting the stitches to make sure it was accurate. Next is time to add color. I chose a primary color gradient for this piece. I've seen a few historical examples of pocketbooks with a similar color scheme. I brightened up the colors a little bit to match the vibrancy that they may have had in the 18th century. I chose to use 2 strands of cotton embroidery floss. Traditionally, silk or wool threads would have been used, but I have an extensive collection of cotton embroidery thread, so I opted for some stash busting. Then, it was time to begin stitching in earnest. Bargello work is done by passing the needle up along the last stitch, down 4 sections, up 2, down 4, and so on. It's a simple vertical stitch that can be done in many different variations to create often intricate geometric patterns. My pattern is quite simple with only one length of stitch that steps up and down to create a flame stitch pattern. I laid down 2 rows of each color in a sequence, then a line of black. This is a slow process. This entire embroidery took me 4 seasons of Criminal Minds to stitch up over about a week. But now, while we watch this beautiful time lapse, let's talk a little bit more about Bargello. Bargello, also called flame stitch, Hungarian point, Florentine work, canvas work, or Irish stitch, depending on who you ask, is a type of counted embroidery that was popularized in Florence during the Italian Renaissance, although the origins of the style are unknown, possibly Hungarian, but unknown. The style is named for a set of upholsterer's chairs found in the Bargello Palace in Florence. Bargello work was popular for many different applications, including upholstery, shoes, soft furnishings, and other accessories. Bargello work was popular in 18th century America for both men and women's accessories, chiefly pocketbooks. There are many examples of these pocketbooks in major US collections. Although there are not as many examples of ladies' tie-on pockets in Bargello, this project was inspired by a set in the Huntington collection that I saw a couple of years back. Bargello saw a comeback with the craft movement in the 1960s and 70s with new and innovative color schemes and patterns. The Renaissance saw the invention of 4- and 8-way Bargello, invented by Dorothy Katzner and Susan Curdant, respectively. Bargello is also a motif that is used in quilting. The technique is somewhat popular today and enjoys a new life in historical costuming. Finally, after many hours of stitching, I was done. I removed the work from the hoop and cut very carefully about 1/4 of an inch from the embroidery. Then I created a gusset pattern using my original cardboard pattern piece and printer paper. Then I cut out 2 body pieces and a gusset out of heavyweight bleached linen. I then basted the embroidered piece onto the new linen backing to protect the back of the work. I pinned on the gusset piece to the front and whipped it together with linen thread, and then repeated this for the back. Then I bound the pocket with an orange cotton twill tape from my stash and used a tight running stitch with linen thread to secure everything together. I split the opening and bound those edges. Then I bound the top edge with a long piece of twill tape to act as ties. And it was done! Although the pocket was a long project, I really enjoyed it. The finished product is absolutely beautiful. I did wish I had made it slightly bigger so that I could fit my Bargello wallet into it, but otherwise, it's perfection.
This almost completes my set of late 18th century underwear with only skirt supports missing, and someday I will get around to the gown to go on top of it all. Thank you for watching the video. If you would like to follow along for more sewing adventures, costume conversations, and preservation tips, please like and subscribe. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram, I'm at Costume and Conservation. Have a nice day, everyone!